Welcome to World Prism. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. In the 21st century, semiconductor chips are the new oil, powering everything from smartphones to military systems and shaping global power. These tiny pieces of silicon are the invisible engines behind our digital world, making possible the devices and networks that connect billions of people. From the moment you wake up and check your phone, to the cars you drive, the hospitals you visit, and the satellites orbiting above, chips are at the heart of modern life. Their influence stretches far beyond consumer gadgets, reaching deep into the infrastructure that underpins economies and national security. These tiny silicon brains drive innovation, economic strength, and national security for countries like the US and China. Whoever controls chip technology holds the keys to the future, influencing everything from artificial intelligence to advanced weaponry. The race to develop and manufacture the most advanced chips is now a central front in the competition for global leadership. The US has long led in chip design, with giants like Intel and Nvidia securing its technological and military edge. American companies have set the pace for decades, creating the blueprints for the world's most powerful processors and graphics chips. This dominance has given the US not just economic clout, but also a strategic advantage in global affairs. But China is investing billions to catch up, seeing dependence on foreign chips as a critical weakness. The Chinese government is pouring resources into research, education, and manufacturing, determined to build a self-sufficient chip industry. For Beijing, mastering chip technology is about more than profit. It's about national pride and security. This rivalry is about more than market share. It's a battle for technological supremacy, with AI chips at the heart of military and surveillance advances. The outcome will shape the balance of power in the 21st century, affecting everything from economic growth to the future of warfare and privacy. Washington fears China's rise, imposing restrictions to slow Beijing's progress, while China sees these moves as efforts to keep it dependent and contained. Export controls, blacklists, and diplomatic pressure have become tools in this high-stakes contest, with each side maneuvering to protect its interests and outpace the other. The chip war has escalated into direct government intervention, corporate seizures, and threats of severe penalties. Companies and individuals now find themselves caught in the crossfire, as governments take unprecedented steps to secure their technological futures. Decisions in Washington, Beijing, and key capitals now shape not just the tech industry, but the very architecture of global power and daily life. The outcome of this struggle will determine who leads in innovation, who controls the digital economy, and ultimately, who sets the rules for the world of tomorrow. The US has taken its toughest stance yet, threatening up to 20 years in prison for violating chip export controls to China. This marks a shift from fines to personal consequences, aiming to scare companies and individuals into strict compliance. The goal: build a technological iron curtain, isolating China from Western innovation. The first major casualty? Nexperia, a Dutch chipmaker owned by China's Wingtech, was seized by the Dutch government after US pressure. The Netherlands, under intense American influence, suspended Nexperia's CEO and took control, citing governance issues. But it was clear this was Washington's doing, showing just how far the US will go to enforce its tech blockade. The Nexperia seizure blurs the lines between corporate governance, international law, and raw geopolitical power. The Nexperia case reveals just how far America is willing to go to protect its technological dominance and national security interests in an increasingly competitive world. By leveraging its vast diplomatic influence, the US has shown it can shape the fate of foreign companies and even entire industries to achieve its tech war goals. In private meetings, US officials delivered a stark ultimatum to the Dutch government: remove Nexperia's Chinese CEO, or risk being blacklisted by the world's largest economy. A threat that carried enormous economic consequences. The Netherlands, caught in a dilemma between protecting its own sovereignty and maintaining its alliance with the US, ultimately seized Nexperia. While the official reason cited was governance concerns, it was clear that the move was made under intense American pressure. This unprecedented intervention set a powerful precedent. Domestic corporate affairs, once considered internal matters, can now be dictated by the strategic interests of foreign powers. The move sent shockwaves through the global business community, raising urgent questions and fears about the safety of foreign investments in an era of geopolitical rivalry. Wingtech, Nexperia's Chinese parent company, condemned the seizure as discriminatory and politically motivated, vowing to challenge the decision in court and defend its rights on the international stage. The Dutch action, forced by Washington's demands, has crippled a major tech company, put jobs at risk, and ignited a fierce legal and diplomatic battle that is still unfolding. Today, Nexperia stands as a symbol of the escalating US-China tech war, with allies around the world now forced to pick sides, often at great economic and political cost. In the wake of the Nexperia seizure, China responded with swift and uncompromising force. The government imposed strict export controls, effectively crippling Nexperia's ability to ship products from its Chinese factories to the rest of the world. These new restrictions didn't just slow down business, they brought entire supply chains to a grinding halt, sending shockwaves through the global tech industry. By weaponizing Nexperia's own supply chain, China instantly disrupted the company's global operations. Production lines stood idle, shipments were delayed indefinitely, and customers worldwide scrambled to find alternatives. The message from Beijing was unmistakable: seize our assets, and we'll make them worthless. The cost of crossing China would be felt not just by one company but by the entire industry. Ironically, Nexperia, now under Dutch control, found itself in the awkward position of having to lobby Beijing for export exemptions, hoping to salvage what remained of its business. The company became a pariah to both sides, caught in a tightening web of sanctions and retaliation. Its future grew increasingly uncertain as it struggled to navigate the new reality. For Wingtech, China's countermove was a rallying cry. The company doubled down on its defiance, vowing never to yield to foreign pressure and urging other Chinese firms to stand firm. Beijing's actions signaled a new, more confrontational phase in the tech war, where regulatory power became a potent weapon. The rules of global business were being rewritten in real time. This tit-for-tat escalation sent ripples through the global tech ecosystem, destabilizing markets and warning multinationals of the immense risks of being caught in the crossfire between superpowers. Nexperia's fate now stands as a stark cautionary tale, a warning to any company daring to operate between the US and China, where the rules can change overnight and the consequences are global. Despite its tough rhetoric, US policy on chip exports is riddled with contradictions. In 2024, the US allowed Nvidia and AMD to sell advanced chips to China, while taking a 15% cut of the revenue. National security experts slammed the deal, warning it could boost China's military and AI capabilities. At the same time, the US government took a 10% stake in Intel, blurring the line between regulator and market player. These moves expose deep conflicts. Security hawks want to halt China's rise, but commercial interests and government profits pull the other way. The result is a policy landscape that's aggressive yet inconsistent, leaving allies and companies guessing at America's true intentions. The US is both enforcer and business partner in the very industry it seeks to control. Even with strict export bans, a major loophole lets Chinese firms access US technology cloud computing. Instead of buying banned chips, Chinese companies simply rent AI computing power from US giants like Microsoft and Amazon. This backdoor allows sanctioned firms to keep developing advanced AI, sidestepping export controls entirely. Lawmakers have tried, and failed, to close this loophole, blocked by powerful tech industry lobbying. Tech companies argue that restrictions would hurt US competitiveness and only push China to build its own alternatives faster. In 2024 alone, China bought over $20 billion in US chip-making equipment, showing the stakes. Years of commercial engagement have made a clean break nearly impossible, leaving critical backdoors wide open. The cloud loophole highlights the ongoing tension between national security and business interests in Washington. The chip war is no longer abstract, it's disrupting companies, workers, and consumers worldwide. Nexperia is trapped between Western sanctions and Chinese retaliation, putting thousands of jobs at risk. Global tech firms are scrambling to rework supply chains, often at huge cost. The US push for domestic chip-making creates new jobs, but decoupling from China threatens others. Engineers and executives now face legal risks, stifling the global collaboration that once drove innovation. For consumers, chip shortages mean higher prices and product delays, while the tech split could fragment the internet itself. The seamless global digital commons is under threat, replaced by rival US and Chinese tech spheres. The choices made now will shape the global economy, technology, and world order for decades to come.